Inter-county activity, beautifully caught up, delivered inside again, but just overhit, and nobody in the full forward line, Heffernan in particular, able to make anything of it.
And that's the second wide now where neither the corner forward nor the full forward were able to get the ball. The corner forward is out too far, and I have a feeling with Limerick then with the win, the corner forwards need to stay in more.
So against the breeze, David Fitzgerald pucking it out into his own half-forward line, runs on down there towards Stephen McNamara. Nipping in is Steve McDonough. McDonough's clearance into space towards TJ Ryan. Gathered up well there against Frank Lohan. Lohan had a bit of a nightmare here against Kilkenny in the league final in the Surface. Did well, however, when he came in against Cork in the second half of the semi-final. Galligan knocking it forward towards TJ Ryan. Referee says play on. Into open space towards Damien Quigley. Much expected of Quigley. Back down to Galligan it falls. Real stalemate situation. In the end, only broken up by the referee's whistle. And it's going to be a free out. Clare was fouled as Liam Doyle from Bodyke. One of the few Clare success stories, I think, from last year's Munster final. He played cornerback that day and acquitted himself really well. Well, full forward has been a problem position for Limerick in recent times. David Fitzgerald. Again down into the corner towards Stephen McNamara. But Steve McDonough has been winning the early tussles there. Appeals by Frankie Carroll, but it's going to be Clare's ball. Seemed to have gone off a Clare stick, I must say.
Yes, I think that was a wrong decision by the umpire.
The umpire across there is Ger Harrington, and the referee Johnny McDonald has overruled the Cork official, and it's going to be Limerick's sideline cut. Once we get the ball back.
Interesting that they have line ball or ball boys down the side. There's a young boy throwing the ball there on the far side in blue.
And we'll see full equality in a few years' time. We'll have ball girls, I'm sure, as well.
I'm sure we will.
Taken down by Liam Doyle, but only enough to take the sting out of it. Feed it to Mike Galligan, who raises the first white flag. Galligan from Clahon, setting Limerick on their way, or at least they'd like to think so. Well, there was just a hint of a chance that they might have been able to get that ball away, but it was touched down there by Liam Doyle, and that's where Galligan was in there to profit.
Both sides are a bit nervous at the moment. It'll take them a while to settle down.
Ollie Baker fumbling. Comes across to Jamesy O'Connor. Kieran Carey comfortably under it. Fed inside towards the inside forward line once again. Magnificently high in the air by Michael O'Halloran. O'Halloran hand passing it to Doyle. In the early moments of this exchange to Shawty McMahon. How happy is he that that shoulder has recovered sufficiently? That'll be interesting to see. The block down there of Conor Clancy's shot. Here he is again. A rumbustious full forward Clancy, hooked again by Mike Nash. And then it's Dave Clark who kicks it away, but only as far as the midfielder, Ollie Baker. Baker unable to go on the left-hand side. O'Loughlin, the Sparrow, giving possession away. Out it comes towards the left half back, who is Anthony Daly, the team captain. Stephen McNamara trying to nudge it inside there. Limerick under severe pressure. This is PJ O'Connell, centre half forward, and he just had enough room to put it over the bar. He advanced well that time, and the Clare flags flying high and proudly here at Semple Stadium, and it's a point apiece. All that after some indecision in front of the Limerick goal.
Yes, indeed. Here was a ball. The ball should have been cleared. Declan Nash had it, lost possession. PJ O'Connell gets it. Mike Nash stops him, and then he makes space for himself and flicks the ball over. Good point for Clare.
Always reminds me of a Spanish violinist. PJ O'Connell has that kind of swagger in his play. Here he is again. An inviting ball forward there. Herbert going across, just trying to keep it away from his man. And his man does well. Fergie Tui. And that's going to the left, but kept in play by Steve McDonough towards Dave Clark. Making sure it's kept away there from Stephen McNamara. And the referee's whistle has sounded. That's going to be a free out for Limerick. Some over-aggressive play, and it's heating up quite considerably. The linesman, Ger Harrington, having to go in there. just to try and defuse the situation. On the Clare bench, they've seen so much disappointment down the years, but today they're hoping it's the glory day at last. Since Clare last won a major honour, the National League, at the end of the 70s, they have lost 8 major finals between Munster Championship and League finals. Dave Clark, Ollie Baker gathering. The supply in low, runs on well. Gerald Loughlin, the Sparrow looking for another point. And Clare are in front. Gerald Loughlin goes back to top of the left. That's his first point. And Clare lead for the first time in the match. Just 7 minutes gone.
There's a badly hit free by Clark. Mike Houlihan wasn't ready for it. Clare got it up the field and over the bar. A good score for Clare against a very strong breeze.
It has to be a little bit worrying for Limerick, even at this early stage, that midfield isn't functioning as well as it might. Here's Shawnee McMahon. And there was a little nudge in the back, quite clearly seen by the referee, by PJ O'Connell on his man.
Gary Kirby is coming out to take this. It's what, 90 yards out.
It's a bit ambitious even by his standards, but the breeze is behind him and blowing slightly away right of centre.
Yeah, the problem there is there's nobody gone in centre forward. Limerick are missing a centre forward, so Gary expects to put this ball over the bar or wide.
Rolls it up well. They're struck in towards the square. Good goalkeeping by David Fitzgerald. Pressurised by Damien Quigley. And the pressure paying off because it's going to be a sideline ball. So from Limerick's point of view, bringing out Gary Kirby to take that wasn't a bad decision at all, because it now results in the pressure staying on them. It's Mike Gallagher who's going to take the sideline cut. Again, Liam Doyle coping with it well. Driving it off on his left-hand side. Ollie Baker in pursuit with Mike Houlihan. And once again, it's pressure on the Clare backs.
I have to query Michael Gallagher taking that sideline ball. He took the ball and his man cleared it. Like, he came out, and I think a centre-field man should have taken the ball, and Michael Gallagher should have gone into the forwards.
So the Limerick captain showing a bit of variation to Dave Clark. Touched on its way, and that's gone wide. So already 3 Limerick wides. Clare without a wide so far, and they have the lead, of course. Clare today hoping to bridge 63 years, a long, long time indeed, since their last win in Munster in 1932. Well, they were close, as I remember it last year, to Limerick for about 20 minutes in the first half, and then the gap widened quite considerably. Here's Anthony Daly, good block down. Limerick very much the favourites. Mike Houlihan knocked inside. This is Pat Heffernan sending in that shot and putting it over the bar. Well, that's a bit more like it from the Limerick inside forward line. And Pat Heffernan from Blackrock, the first of them to score.
It just shows how fast the game is, Jared. That centre-back had plenty of time to clear it, and Gary Kirby got in and got his hook in and blocked it.
And here it is again. He was 45 metres out when he hit that shot. Accuracy personified, straight between the posts. Mike Houlihan trying to win the exchanges now at midfield. Dave Clark in there, nippy and quick. Dashing forward, getting away from Ollie Baker. Crossing the 45-metre line to Gallagher, who held on securely the shot to try and restore Limerick's lead, but he hasn't done so. And Limerick have a player injured on the ground on the 45-metre line, and the referee is speaking to Liam Doyle of Clare.
You'd wonder why he was speaking to the Clare player, you know. I know it was possibly a late tackle, but if it was a late tackle, then it's either a free or advantage, and in this case I think he gave the advantage.
Well, it's Dave Clark from Kilmallock who's down injured. We might just see it again here as he was racing forward. Made a lot of headway. Out
yes,
came
the
Doyle.
ball is well gone.
Late challenge.
Late challenge, yes.
Dave Clark, made of steel. Back he goes into the half-back line.
He's kind of dazed at the moment, though, Ger.
went by Thurles Herbert. On to PJ O'Connell. Didn't get much length in his strike. Sean O'Neill is back there. Recovering well. And that's gone over the sideline. Clare's ball.
Again, Gerard, I question the referee there. There was a push, definitely a push in the back, but he's letting the play flow.
Standard of play so far isn't exactly catching the imagination, I have to say. Yet to settle down. Jamesy O'Connor runs by Thurles Herbert onto PJ O'Connell, and he's put it wide. Clare's first wide. Still 2 points apiece.
There's still a lot of tenseness there. The occasion is a little bit too much for him at the moment, and it'll be another few minutes before they get into the floor again.
Joe Quaid's puck out, wind assisted into the half-forward line. Jamesy O'Connor. They were playing at midfield in spite of the number 12 on his back. And this is the player who should have been at midfield, Fergal Hegarty. Hegarty advancing well. Oh, he's made a good 20 metres. Dave Clark trying to hook him. Still Hegarty, and Clark did really well. That's great skill. An object lesson, I think, for any youngsters watching this programme, not to give up, time the hook well, and that he did to perfection. O'Connell one-handed, trying to knock it forward. 3 Limerick players around him. One of them is Sean O'Neill. Inside towards Pat Heffernan once again, trying to get the measure of Brian Lowen. Some pushing. Referee says play on. Damien Quigley advancing with great purpose. Quigley! And a chance of the first goal, and he's put it wide. And the referee says it's going to be a free in any case. I don't think they heard the referee's whistle. It's going to be a free from the 20-metre line, and David Fitzgerald in real distress.
Yes, and the corner back is now. There's Quigley going through. Now watch the corner back here and the pull across the elbow. Look at that.
Yes, dangerous play, quite definitely.
David Fitzgerald comes out very well, and he crashes into his own man and is injured, and the ball has gone wide.
And Michael O'Halloran has had his name taken for that. So the booking confirmed. Well, it was a dangerous challenge there on David Fitzgerald, who's in considerable distress. So watch it from a different angle this time. It doesn't look any better this time. Quigley advancing well. And this was the hurl. He was lashed out very dangerously, and Quigley indeed collided with the goalkeeper.
He collided with the goalkeeper, and then the goalkeeper collided with the cornerback as well, and that's where he got the injury. Again, I'd have to query how many steps Damien Quigley took. I think he took about 5 or 6.
Well, he was pulled up for a goal in the Tipperary match. He'd taken 6 or 7 steps on that occasion. Here's Gary Kirby. That's gone off Brian Lowen's stick. It's collected by his brother Frank. It should have been a Limerick point put over the bar from the free. Instead, Clare get away, and it's still 2 points each. Anthony Daly. Those are perhaps the little breaks they're going to require if they're to engineer a victory here after all the barren years. Quigley again, certainly a thorn on the side of the Clare defence, in particular Michael O'Halloran, who has to be on his best behaviour now, being booked already. And the referee says bring it back here to the 20-metre line. Clare incensed, but Limerick at the free. And having missed a fairly simple one a little while ago, you can be sure that Gary Kirby will take extreme caution and concern over this one. And for not retreating fast enough for querying the decision, it's free from a more favourable position.
Yeah, I think Clare are getting a little bit upset over that.
And Gary Kirby tops it over the bar. His first point. And Limerick with the lead once again.
Yes, Quigley is causing problems in there. I think if Limerick keep the ball pumped into the corner here, that can cause a lot of problems from the Clare full back line.
Well, they were saying in Limerick during the week that Damien Quigley was due a good one. Thurles Herbert, and it's caught well by Fergie Toohey. Low ball down to the corner. McNamara too near the sideline. That's Declan Nash back there. Very tidy and effective player. Getting away from Conor Clancy. Shouldered, and I can tell you the linesman was indicating that it wasn't a fair shoulder. He had the flag up quickly, but the referee said no, it was a perfectly fairly executed shoulder to shoulder.
I think you have to be a mathematician today to know what a shoulder is.
I think somehow it's connected to my neck. This is Ollie Baker, the man who did the damage against Cork in the semi-final. He fluffs it. Tui trying to get it back. Comes to Ollie Baker again, a more favourable angle, and that's a bad miss. Well, he's ruining his luck. And I can tell you several thousand Clare people are in complete empathy with him.
He's getting the better of the exchange with Michael Houlihan, though. Mike doesn't seem to be on form at the moment.
And of course, he had this disappointing performance also against Tipperary in the semi-final. Frankie Carroll under the stopping ball with Anthony Daly. Jamesy O'Connor. And the sideline ball.
Yeah, the Limerick half-forward line are in a bit of trouble. They're not dominating the game, and the Clare are winning a lot of ball at the half-back line. Frankie isn't getting to the ball and isn't moving it fast enough, so on the far side, Limerick are in trouble.
Here's Anthony Daly. Beautifully cut down towards PJ O'Connell. Kieran Carey hoping to dominate as usual that particular sector of the Limerick defence. So the face of Ollie Baker ready to take the sideline cut. And the referee just wanting the other players back the requisite distance. Into the corner towards Gerald Loughlin, and the master in that particular sector of the field has certainly been Steve McDonough. Sean McMahon rising up for it, drops it down. Gary Kirby trying to carry it on, supported by Frankie Carroll. Back goes McMahon once again. High challenge by Carroll, free out. A real flare up here. They're angry with the challenge there by Frankie Carroll, and Frankie being called across here by referee Johnny McDonnell. So we have another name going in the book for this challenge here, as Shawnee McMahon was coming out with possession, high and dangerous.
Yes, it was a dangerous tackle by Frankie. It is head high, and it's as simple as free for Clare, and that should have been the end of it.
Well, Ger Loughnane, who's done so well to give this side belief in themselves, and indeed he went on the record, of course, after the league final here against Kilkenny as saying that Clare will win the Munster Championship. They didn't believe him, but they did it against Cork to get to this third final in a row. Limerick the leaders. Against the breeze, Anthony Daly dropping it in there towards the full forward. Conor Clancy. This is a good run, but one-handed, not causing any problems to Joe Quaid. Then running into a bit of a cul-de-sac, losing possession. Mike Nash whipping on it. That could have been so dangerous. Joe Quaid seemed to have it comfortably gathered.
Yes, it appears Limerick lack urgency around the field at the moment. Half-forward line are not urgent enough. Full-back line goalkeeper not urgent enough in clearing the ball.
There was a little worry, I can tell you, in the Limerick backroom team that the team might not have been as well focused as they should have been, because having beaten Tipperary and having beaten Clare so easily last year, they were expected to win. And this is the full forward, I think, Conor Clancy. And they're preparing Eamon Taff. Taffo had a bit of a hamstring injury. Ger Loughnane with a word to his full forward. And I think he's saying, if you're okay, back into business quickly. We're just under 15 minutes to go to the interval. Very low scoring Munster final so far. Sean O'Neill. Out as far as Frankie Carroll. It reaches Dave Clark. Hooked well by Gerald Loughlin. Sean O'Neill from Limerick adding to it towards Damien Quigley's corner, and he really has the beating of Michael O'Halloran so far. Taking it up neatly. O'Halloran in real trouble against this fellow. Good skills, tight control, and then there's Pat Fitzgerald to back him up. Back to Mike Galligan, going for the score. Just needs that amount of room, and he pops it over the bar. A second point for Mike Galligan. Well, he's not the kind of player who'll go in there and mix it all that much, but he's a stylish performer, and when it comes down to him, when he gets free chances, he'll take those scores with some ease.
There it is. Pat Heffernan gets the ball. He falls on his back, and beautiful hand pass over his head. Mike makes space and gets the ball just over. Beautiful score.
Well, Galligan had an easy time of it last year, scoring 7 points against the Clare defence. Here's Sean O'Neill, exerting a greater influence now around midfield. Mike Galligan. Into space, Shawnee McMahon showing no real hint of the shoulder injury. It caused him so much trouble in the semi-final. Frankie Carroll gets it back, and that's gone to the left. 5 wides for Limerick, 2 for Clare.
Do you know the worrying thing about this, Ger, is there's 22 minutes gone and Limerick have the breeze and they've only 4 points up on the board.
How strong a wind do you think it is?
It's extremely strong because it's blowing directly down the field. But I think teams can play better against the breeze than with it.
PJ O'Connell missing his shot. One-handed forward by Thurles Herbert. Mike Gallagher now. Knocked forward towards TJ Ryan. And Frankie Carroll has it. Frankie leading the charge of the Light Brigade. The shot, and it's over the bar. Everyone in the Limerick half-forward line has now scored. And Frankie Carroll extends Limerick's lead. It's only 5 points to 2, and there's a long way to go yet.
There's the ball, Frankie gets it now. He seems to go off at half speed, and there are 2 Clare men on him. And he pucks the ball, beautiful score, but I would have thought that Clare should have hooked him.
It's a free to Clare. And Shawnee McMahon shaping up like he might be the one to take it. Remember the long-range frees against Kilkenny in the league final? He pointed 4 of those. Well, the rumour mongers before this match had a field day suggesting that he wouldn't play and that there would be wholesale restructuring of the Clare team. But thankfully they are unchanged. The referee is down having a chat with one of his umpires, and this issuing a warning. Stephen McNamara and Dave Clark are the players he's been talking to. All concentration then for Shawnee McMahon. One they need, it's going right, however. And it remains 5 points to 2.
Yes, the game still hasn't settled down. There's a lot of bad hurling and there's some good hurling, but it still has to get going.
Clare will be marginally happier in that they're keeping it tight. Here's Gary Kirby. Again, getting some latitude. Normally a very good striker of the ball. That one has gone to the left. And Mike Gallagher's on the ground with a facial injury.
There's a great re-raw going on in centre field. Sean O'Neill wants to mark Ollie Baker, but he's staying on James O'Connor. And Gallagher got a ball. He doesn't. Did you see it, Ger?
Afraid not. Still a fair bit of re-raw and Ruila Buil, as you suggested, midfield, but it's settled down now. Dave Clark under it. Kieran Carey just behind him to lend assistance. One-handed forward, Anthony Daly there. And the Clare captain winning the free.
Clare's tactic at the moment is to stop Kieran Carey from bursting forward, and so far they've succeeded in doing this. He's not able to get away like he got away against Tipperary.
This is the 10th free of the match. Not any great length in it. Kieran Carey whipping it away. Jamesy O'Connor. Is it straight? It is. O'Connor puts it between the posts. His first point. Clare staying nicely in touch. They won't worry, I'm sure, about the standard of play if they can win after all the long, barren years of failure. Clare making some further positional switches in their forward line as we follow the flight path of the ball. And McMahon has kicked it forward only as far as Gary Kirby to Mike Gallagher. There's a goal chance here for Limerick. Clare back there quickly, closing him down. Sensing the danger, kicked away by Frank Lohan. Frankie Carroll taken up by TJ Ryan. Cross towards Damien Quigley. Quigley trying to get onto it, whipping it, not causing any problems for David Fitzgerald, however, stepping it away from the incoming Damien Quigley. It's taken up by Gerald Loughlin, now playing it left half forward, with Fergal Hegarty gone in to top of the left. Steve McDonough, what a game he's playing for Limerick. Towards Frankie Carroll, he's outmarked, however. Jamesy O'Connor, one of the two who was on him. Downfield to Stephen McNamara. This nephew of the great Kerry footballer Ger Parr and grandson of Jackie is on his way for Clare against Limerick inside here towards Conor Clancy. Stopped somehow, and that's gone wide, but it's going to be a penalty, I think. The referee deciding that it's a penalty after that great run through there. And David Fitzgerald may well be coming up to take it. Tony Considine, one of the selectors, is going out to have a word in the middle of the field with David Fitzgerald. I'm sure he's telling him to either go for a goal or a point. At this stage, they'd hardly bring him up from the goal if he wasn't going to go for a goal himself.
Where are the markings for the players on the field to stay outside? I don't see any markings. There's this semicircle.
There's none here. It's missing this afternoon. Well spotted.
It's strange for a goalie to take it, but it doesn't matter. I suppose if he scores, they'll be delighted.
Remember John Commons in the 1986 All-Ireland final? David Fitzgerald, here's the goal chance for him for Clare. He scored! 28 minutes into the first half, and now he's racing back, and the puck out's been taken. Will he win his race? Play continues. Fitzgerald's on his way, and Gary Kirby has been fouled by not one, by about 2 or 3 Clare players, I thought, and one of them has been called across.
Yes, Baker gave a full frontal attack on Gary.
It's nasty, and it's Ollie Baker who's getting his name taken. This is where David Fitzgerald was racing back. Gary Kirby had possession. Watch for Baker coming across and fouling him there. Looked ugly, and was. Well, he stays on. He's lucky. Sherlock Nan was in there quickly, I'm sure, just to tell him to take it easy. We need you on the park. But there's the goal scoring here, an unlikely one at that, who's given Clare the lead by 1-3 to 5 points.
There's no smoothness in the game in either side today. Tis missed chances, broken ball, and there's no great movement in it.
Here's the equaliser, however, from Gary Kirby. Third time in the match, the teams have been level. There's a lack of fluency, a lack of pattern as well. No doubting the resolve and the energy put in by both teams, however. Mike Houlihan beaten in the air by Ollie Baker. Declan Nash, neat pick up. Faces another challenge, however. Taken away by Thurles, taken away from his own man. Down towards Pat Hegarty, broken down. Brian Lohan didn't get it away too far, only as far as Damien Quigley. Put under some considerable pressure by a couple of Clare backs. He plays on. Quigley's going to win advantage. Stop with the goalkeeper. Didn't come down nicely for Pat Heffernan, however. Again, well saved by David Fitzgerald. And that's going to be a free out. The cheers ringing around Semple Stadium from the Clare following up for this man here, for David Fitzgerald, a senior since 1990.
As he brought off 2 magnificent saves there. Saves that Clare had to save, really. Quigley shot 1 great ball in. He blocked it, ball came out. Heffernan hit another one. The ball was blocked again. Tremendous saves by David Fitzgerald.
Free taken against the breeze, of course. Down towards Ollie Baker. Didn't make a connection. It says Mike Houlihan, appreciating the urgency now of Limerick's need. In towards Pat Heffernan, runs in. David Fitzgerald reading the signals, fumbled, and that's going to be a 65.
Ger, at the start of the game I said that I felt the Limerick forwards were too far out. I can't understand why TJ Ryan is so far out and when the ball drops into the full forward line, because he's outside the full forward instead of being inside in case the ball broke inside. And 3 or 4 balls have gone wide on that particular side.
Truth is, he's been out of the match by and large. So the 65 to be taken by Gary Kirby. His 12 points against Tip included a penalty, a 65, and 7 ordinary frees. Where's this one going to end up? Over the bar! A 3rd point for Gary Kirby, and the lead changing hands now for the 5th time.
Still, there's nearly 31 minutes gone, and Limerick are only 7 points and Clare are 1-3 against the breeze. That's a tremendous score for Clare.
Yes, Clare, I think, will be the happier, but they've been in happy positions in the past as well after a first half, and they haven't always gone on to justify the faith of their fans. Oh, that's a bad pass there by Liam Doyle. Straight to Damien Quigley, surely put this over. Out to TJ Ryan, was running away from him. Did well initially, but then his touch let him down. Well, he's very annoyed.
As they say in rugby, he took the wrong option.
This is where Damien Quigley was stealing in here. The cover was very poor because they were expecting a decent hand pass from Liam Doyle. And that's where I thought TJ Ryan just might have it, but his first touch really left him down.
Yes. I think myself he should have taken his own score, because there were two Claremen there. There was a Limerick man, and then there was 2-on-2. So I think Quigley should have taken his own score.
Colin Flynn's in there alongside Ger Loughnane to attend to Liam Doyle, a hand injury. In terms of scoring chances so far, Limerick with 18 chances, and they've taken 7 of them. Clare have had only 8 chances, they've taken 4. That's some statistic. One of them, of course, a penalty. Thurles Herbert stays back, doesn't reach him. Whipped away instead by Mike Galligan, inside towards Damien Quigley. Runs on to Pat Heffernan. The corner forward's not running ahead, but it doesn't come for them, and so it's Anthony Daly. Kieran Carey trying to break it up. Trying to exert even greater influence around that sector of the field as they watch Stephen McNamara. Good run forward by McNamara. Low inside. Taken by Fergie Dewey, and the referee says he was fouled, and it's a free in. The foul committed there by Thurles Herbert from a hand.
At the moment, I think Limerick are failing in a number of places. Thurles Herbert is in trouble at left half back. Frankie Carter's in terrible trouble at right half forward. And Clare aren't taking advantage of those situations.
I suppose it's difficult from a Clare perspective. They've been near before, but never quite had the confidence to go the whole way. James O'Connor, the free seemed to run away from, but he gathered it well. And that's his second point, and now the side's level for the 4th time in this Munster final. A minute to go to half-time. Liam Doyle comes away well towards Stephen McNamara, trying to get the better of Steve McDonough. Tui coming in quickly, stopped somehow. Wonderful save by Mike Nash, great dispossession, and Thurles Herbert reading the intentions, knocked it clear beyond Shawnee McMahon. Anthony Daly trying to gather it up. Here's Mike Galligan, stopped by Frank Lohan. Shawnee McMahon again, needing some assistance, but a bit slow to get in to help him. Liam Doyle instead. On his left-hand side, in these last few seconds, barring injury time of the first half, Dave Clark. On towards Mike Houlihan. Sides level, remember. Thurles Herbert. That's across there towards Frank Lohan. Seems to be brushed aside by TJ Ryan. Referee says play on. Back down to Dave Clark. Keeping it away from the Sparrow, but only as far as Liam Doyle playing in a more central role as Mike Galligan moves into the centre. Fergie Tui now crossing the 45-metre line, attracting Kieran Carey to him, trying to avoid the hook. Still Fergie Tui having difficulty getting the shot in, but does so in the end, and he puts it over the bar, and Fergie Tui has given Clare the lead. His first point. I'm sure they now believe that they're in with a right good chance, as indeed they are, with the whole of the second half still to come.
Yes, there was a high ball between the Toohey and Herbert. Herbert went up to try and catch with his hand. He's a half a foot smaller than Toohey.
And that's the end of the first half. Not classical hurling by any manner of means. But if you're a Limerick, or in particular if you're a Clare fan, you won't want to miss the remaining 35 minutes. David Fitzgerald gave Clare an invaluable step forward with a penalty goal 7 minutes from half-time, and it's the Clare following who are raising the flags proudly. They're delighted. It's Clare 1-5, 8 points, Limerick 7 points.
It looks as if Limerick have it all to do in the second half, a point down and against the wind.
No, they're not playing well, Tony, and there's no doubt about that. I would imagine that Clare would be much more happier with their first half performance than Limerick. Plus the fact that there's a big breeze there now, which Clare will have in the second half.
Yeah, the breeze will be an important factor. We didn't really use it in that first half.
We weren't allowed to use it. Clare stormed into the match. We knew the first 10 or 15 minutes was going to be terrible physical and terrible intense. But there's no doubt about it, but Clare at the moment are going that bit better than Limerick.
They seem to want it a bit more at the moment.
Well, I don't think any team is hungrier than Limerick. I don't think we've seen Limerick play as yet. I would imagine that in the second half, I would hope that in the second half we will see a different Limerick side.
Will we see changes?
I don't think so. No, I would imagine Tom will more or less start with the same 15. He will be telling them that they haven't done themselves justice as yet, and I would like to think that he would give them at least 10 or 15 more minutes before he makes changes.
Would you like to be out there yourself? I'm sure you would.
Well, obviously, Tony, I'd love to be out there. You know, I mean, if you can't hurl in conditions like this, you can't hurl. I mean, it's absolutely perfect. Other than a slight breeze, you know, it's a perfect day for hurling.
Thanks very much, Jeff.
You're more than welcome.
So we're going to take a short break. Back in a few minutes with the second half. So back here for the start of the second half, and Limerick making a change at left half back. Thurles Kerbert's gone off, Tyke Hayes has come on, and of course it's Clare who lead by a point. Clare with the wind at their backs. Free to Limerick, and straight away the referee drawing attention to the sideline. There's a Clare player, seems to be Jamesy O'Connor, who's in need of some attention.
It's going to be interesting, Jared, to see how Clare will play with the wind in this half. Limerick just weren't able to play properly with the wind in the first half. And will Clare stay out, or will they stay inside waiting for the high balls to come in? There are times when teams play better against the wind than with it.
The Clare medical officer is Dr. Pádraig Quinn. There's the substitute, Tyke Hayes. He had been mentioned in dispatches leading up to this match that he might have replaced Mike Nash, who seemed to be an injury worry much earlier on. Mike had a near infection, but contrary to some reports, he wasn't suffering from vertigo, I'm told. So a quick pause in proceedings here. Jamesy O'Connor, the school teacher from St. Flannan's. Gerald Loughnane, the team coach, also a school teacher. So care and attention then being given to the Clare number 12. Mentors at one corner, the fans. There's a few gaps in the Clare following behind the goal at the Killiney end. They haven't travelled in as huge numbers as before. That's disappointing with so many failures down the years, but Jamesy O'Connor anxious to make amends. He's back in midfield, marking Sean O'Neill. Dave Clark will be the free taker. So the Kilmallock man popping into the breeze. Limerick's first attack of the second half, which is broken up by Michael O'Halloran. Knocked forward. PJ O'Connell. O'Connell hitting a shot from some distance out, straight between the posts, a wonderful point. Well, he got one in the first half, but that was far better. A fine score by the O'Callaghan Mills player. And now Clare lead by 1-6 to 7 points, a lead of 2 points.
This is just what Clare needed, a quick score in the second half.
He knocked it away from Kieran Carey, did well from a good 50 metres out, straight between the posts. And Clare back in the attack once again. Stephen McNamara can't take it up, leaves it behind to Steve McDonough. The clearance into the centre, no great long lengthy hitting this afternoon by players in either team really. Sean O'Neill and Frankie Carroll. Frankie, who didn't make much of an impression in the first half, will need to up his performance, I feel, for the second 35 minutes.
I'd be a little bit worried if I were Limerick now. Gary's not playing well at centre forward. None of the forwards are playing well in opening it up. And Kieran is not dominating the centre-back position.
The connection there by Dave Clark down towards TJ Ryan. Brought to ground by Frank Lohan. And it's going to be a free, of course, to Limerick. Gary Kirby will be the taker. Limerick's second free of the second half, and just their seventh in all in this Guinness Munster Championship game. So 2 from 4 so far for Gary Kirby, and that's gone off the post and over the bar. It looked like it was going left, but Gary's fourth point all of his points coming from frees. 1 from a 65. 1 point the margin. There's passion and commitment from followers and players all around the ground. A lot of nervous tension as well, however. Mike Houlihan under the dropping ball with Ollie Baker over there. Tyke Hayes trying to make it his. In fact, Hayes, his first touch since coming on as a sub. Shawnee McMahon running straight into Mike Galligan. Ollie Baker trying to knock it forward. Ball ran kindly for him. Looking for another Clare score. This should be easy for Joe Quaid, and he decides in the end to let it go harmlessly wide. Clare's first wide of the second half, and their fourth in all.
I must say, Ger, that the standard of hurling is very poor at the moment. There's no clean striking, there's a lot of tension, there's a lot of hooking, there's no open play, and there's all individuals playing individual games rather than playing in team game.
And it's not as if these players didn't have Munster final experience. Clare's third time in a row in this showdown, of course, and Limerick's third time in 4 years. Sean O'Neill back towards Mike Houlihan. Pat Heffernan trying to get first one on this one, held back by Brian Lowen, free in. The Limerick following in particular trying to get behind their team, trying to see them play the kind of flowing, dashing hurling they know they're capable of. And Clare's followers doing their best to make sure there isn't another disappointing end to yet another Munster final. Gary Kirby will be the taker. Straight in front of the post. The ripple on his jersey indicating the strength of the breeze. And that's gone over the bar. The teams are level for the 5th time.
For Limerick to win this game, 5 or 6 players have to up their game, and for Clare to win, Clare have got to believe that they can do it.
At times, Limerick looked a bit lethargic. PJ O'Connell inside towards Conor Clancy. Mike Nash gave him a lot of latitude. Didn't get a good shot on it, however, Clancy. Joe Quaid coming out from his goal, looking to see where Stephen McNamara was. An effective clearance downfield towards Frankie Carroll. Didn't really get a good connection on it. And to boot it forward. Anthony Daly taking it away from him to Ollie Baker. Frankie gets a partial block on it. Sean O'Neill whips it forward towards TJ Ryan. Ryan trying to take it round the corner, trying to keep it away from Frank Lowen. The Wolftones player and Shannon brings him down, not for the first time in this second half. And the referee signalling the free. Quick word to Frank Lowen saying, play fairly.
Yes. If you see that again now, you'll see that he has pulled the jersey off him. Here we go again. TJ Ryan has the ball. Out comes the hand. Catches it. Look, pulls it. That's the second time within 1 minute that he's done that.
Running repairs for TJ Ryan. Should get away from Gary Kirby a little bit to allow him to have maximum concentration on this free.
Yeah.
Dropped in low. David Fitzgerald has it, then lost it, and gives away the 65. Pat Heffernan was almost in for a possible score.
I can't understand that TJ Ryan staying outside there tying his laces when he should have been inside around the square. That ball was an ideal ball for a right corner forward. And this is I don't know, there's something wrong with the attitude in some players that they're not geared and not fully motivated for this.
Well, can it be the fact that they won handsomely last year? Of course, Clare lost to Tipperary the previous year by a big margin.
That's possible, that's possible.
Come down off the post, batted away by Frank Lowen. Here's Mike Galligan. Liam Doyle going left, then taking away on his right-hand side. The supply of ball inside now for Gerald Loughlin, the Sparrow. Wonderful hand pass to James O'Connor. There's a score here for the taking, and he puts it over the bar. Limerick looking sluggish at one end. Clare come down the field through the intervention of Liam Doyle, and in the end James O'Connor pops it over after a wonderful hand pass, and they lead by a point once again.
Again, there's the situation. Michael Galligan had a chance to get the ball into his hand, misses it. Doyle clears and scores below at the other end. Clare, a great score for Clare at the other end.
3 chances he's had, James O'Connor. 3 points he's provided. It's an interesting move that has brought him into midfield for the 2nd game in a row.
Yeah, I think that's his position really. James O'Connor's position is centre field. And I was surprised when they placed him at left half forward.
It's going to be a Clare sideline ball. The decibel level rises another notch or two. Liam Doyle belted to midfield towards Ollie Baker. Can't contain it the first time. Jamesy O'Connor into space nicely. Declan Nash coming across the line here. The left corner back, making sure that he's not hooked by Conor Clancy. Dave Clark for Limerick. Limerick trailing by that solitary point. Anthony Daly doing well on the half-back line to Jamesy O'Connor, racing away from Kieran Carey, who's not exerting his usual high influence in this match. Inside to Clancy, hand pass back to Stephen McNamara. Closed down initially, around it runs, and Joe Quaid has to make the great save. Loses the stick, trying to get it away from the incoming Clare forwards. It's there for the taking, and the referee says they're going to throw it up on the 20-metre line. Oh, real danger there, and Joe Quaid with a blow to the mouth, and he's annoyed because the referee hasn't taken any action. But this is where the danger came from. Jamesy O'Connor's ball in here.
A good hand pass to Steve McNamara. He's held off by McDonough. Corner forward is actually coming in. Joe Quaid makes a great save. Is held, drops the ball, and the ball is thrown in there. I think that's the only thing the referee could have done in that situation.
Gerald Loughlin, Declan Nash. Nash has it. Lovely pick up. Outside to Mike Houlihan. Houlihan has put an awful lot of hurling, as I said earlier, in the last 18 months, and I think he might be paying for that. That's downfield by Tyke Hayes. Anthony Daly coming in there to rescue Clare from a potentially perilous situation, away from Mike Galligan. In there towards Fergal Hegarty. Lovely steal there, wonderful dispossession by Stephen McNamara against the other Steve McDonough.
I feel, Jared, that Clare are beginning to think that they have a chance of winning this game now. They're beginning to believe in themselves, and they're coming forward and attacking. And the crowd realise this as well for Clare.
They've never been this close before, even though there's a good 24 minutes to go. A long, long way. Steve McDonough comes back here again towards Stephen McNamara. Kieran Carey runs into the challenge there of Jamesy O'Connor. Secure holding there by Sean O'Neill. Backing back is O'Halloran. Michael O'Halloran for Clare. A 6-mile bridge Clare. Attracting 3 Limerick players to him. They're wanting a decision by the referee to the overheld. Didn't happen. Anthony Daly dispossessed momentarily by TJ Ryan. Out towards Gary Kirby. Back to Daly again. The referee's whistle sounds. It's going to be a free for Clare, and he's speaking to Sean O'Neill. Quick little lecture there to the Limerick number 8.
I get the impression, Gerard, that a number of the Limerick players seem to be tired. Gary Kirby seems to be tired now, and I think that's after his tremendous game against Tipperary. And there's nobody else giving him support. Frankie Carroll is not even in the game today.
Yes, the greater freshness is coming from Anthony Daly's team, and they appreciate it up there in the terraces at the Killiney end. Is the famine to end here? Shawnee McMahon from St. Joseph's Dura Bearfield on his own 65-metre line, whipping it high up into the air, dropping down in front of Conor Clancy. Mike Nash there. Clancy has it, however, a little snapshot, and that's gone wide. Appeals for a 65, but it went off the back by Clancy, unheeded, however, by referee and umpire. And Clare may well be considering another change. On the sideline, they're preparing one of their subs, Eamon Taff, as this dropped in. Wonderful catch there by Clancy. And watch once again as he had a little shot. Did it come off a defender? The umpire said no. Good leap in the air here. Fergie Toohey, the hand pass for PJ O'Connell. Nobody going back to marking. A real lack of freshness by Limerick, and it's punished in emphatic fashion. O'Connell's 3rd point. Clare are celebrating already. They lead by just 2 points. But Limerick gave up that time as O'Connell was going through, and in particular Kieran Carey. Watch the number 6, didn't give chase at all, nor the number 20 Tyke Hayes, and that was a relatively easy point. It's another free to Clare for a chop down in the middle of the field. The referee has a quick word with Mike Houlihan for that.
Limerick are definitely in trouble now at this stage, Ger. Clare are beginning, their half-back line is beginning to dominate the Limerick half-forward line. and Limerick are not able to get the ball in. Quigley is out of the game, Galligan is out of the game, there's no ball going into Heffernan, so therefore Clare are cleaning up around here, and they can sense that they have a victory here.
It's going to take something like a Limerick goal, I feel, to bring them right back into it and give them a sense of belief. McMahon with the free. Dropped in, high, and over the bar. His first. The blue and gold of Clare. Is this to be their day at long, long last? Hopes are high. Shawnee McMahon gives them a 3-point lead.
There's a switch there, Jared. Mike Hoolan's gone to centre back, Kieran Carey's gone to centre field.
Oh, they need to produce something to work some form of an oracle. That's McMahon, wholehearted now. Into the challenge there was Fergal Hartley as well, beaten by Sean O'Neill. O'Neill against Hartley, number 8 against number 8. Trying to avoid the hook, inside to Quigley. Lovely sidestep, has a goal chance, and he's kicked it wide. Why didn't he use his stick, you wonder? It was a wonderful sidestep to get away from Michael O'Halloran, to set up the chance for himself after it was all set up here by Sean O'Neill's delivery. The ball played into space. Quigley wrong-footed his man being O'Halloran. And here was his chance to have used his hurley. He kicked it and put it wide. I could only assume he was expecting a block, which never came. Now Kieran Carey expecting a trip, which did, from Shawnee McMahon.
That could be a costly miss there for Limerick. Like, I don't know why Quigley used his leg there. He's tried it twice. Both times the ball has gone wide. He has a hurley in his hand. That's what a hurley is for.
Gary Kirby will take this free. 4 from 7 has been his record today. Dropped in, saved on the goal line by David Fitzgerald. Beats the would-be block of Quigley. Send it back out in the general direction of Kieran Carey. Taken up by Ty Hayes for Limerick. Back in by Shawnee McMahon, playing his heart out up towards Gerald Loughlin, and the line ball favouring Clare.
Everything seems to be going Clare's way this half, and they seem to have this sense that they're going to do it today. Limerick have got to do something, and that was an unfortunate miss for Limerick, but Clare deserved to get away with it.
Well, Gerald Loughlin is out, trying to encourage his men, along with his fellow selectors, Tony Considine and Michael McNamara. There's Ger. Took over from the great Len Gaynor, who brought them so close on a couple of occasions. That's missed completely by Ollie Baker. They all stood back from it. But here's Fergie Toohey, again trying to avoid the hook. Knocked forward towards Conor Clancy. The referee's whistle has signalled a 20-metre free. The foul by Mike Houlihan, who doesn't agree with the referee's verdict. The referee, Johnny MacDonald from Tipperary, his first Munster senior final. The referee telling Gerald Loughlin and the others to go back as Jamesy O'Connor looks for another one. He puts it over the bar. His 4th point from 4 chances. That one from a free. Delighted Clare followers. 4 points they lead. 17 minutes to go. The thought of Clare perhaps going to Croke Park for maybe an All-Ireland semi-final, and who knows what else after that. It's a mouth-watering prospect, but in Limerick they have high hopes as well if their team can get back into it. Pat Heffernan dropped in. Mike Galligan gets away from Anthony Daly. The shot, a vital one, and he gives them renewed hope. Galligan's 3rd point. It was 7 last year in this final. He's now playing top of the right. His man is Frank Lohan.
Jared, there's still, 18 minutes to go. This game is going to go right down to the very end, and it depends on who is the fittest team and who is willing to die out there today.
And who's got the stronger nerve and resolve as well. Dave Clark sails over his head, back to Mike Houlihan, now playing centre half back, having made the switch with Kieran Carey. I think it's Jim McNamara, the substitute, who caught that one, and one of the ball boys returns it. Anthony Daly making sure that the slitter was sitting up properly for him. Didn't get a very good connection nonetheless, but it's Ollie Baker who adds to it. Side towards Stephen McNamara. McNamara against Steve McDonough. Awkward angle, but that's sailing over the bar. in the farms of County Clare will be on automatic pilot for the next week if they win this one. 14 points to 10, 111 to 10 points. Kieran Carey takes it from midfield, a good little dash forward, the shoulder by Liam Doyle, deemed to be a fair one, and it's Ollie Baker who knocks it back towards the inside forwards again, comes off Steve McNamara, outside to the moving forward figure of Jamesy O'Connor. O'Connor dashes forward, another injection of pace, shortens the grip in the stick, and it's gone over the bar. 5 points from 5 chances. These Clare followers are in heaven already.
Yes, Ger, and the score came from Kieran Carey losing possession over on the far hand side when he should have left the ball into the square. There's no point in running at this stage of the game. He's got to move it.
Too many Limerick players are but a pale shadow of their normal selves this afternoon so far. But they're still tight. Mike Galligan advancing. Frank Lohan coming across. Well, they won't want to give a free out in some situation like that, and it's Brian Lohan who comes in to rescue Clare once again. That's a huge long delivery to Stephen McNamara. Good movement forward by O'Connell. Quick pick up, look at the post, and he puts it over. This is a wonderful performance in the second half by Clare. Delirious Clare supporters.
I think the famine is about to end. There's still 10 minutes, 15 minutes to go, Ger, but Clare are playing extremely well.
Well, they've lost 11 Munster finals, you know, since their last victory in 1932, but they have a 6-point lead. They're snapping up their chances, they're eager beaver. They've settled down as a team after the nerves of the opening 35 minutes. TJ Ryan, hand pass forward to Kieran Carey. He's got a man on forward as well, Damien Quigley. Waited for the shoulder to come in, and a bad hand pass. Well, it comes good eventually to Frankie Carroll. Still some pressure being exerted. Shawty Mahan clearing the line for Clare. And Limerick considering another change, I can tell you. The number 23 is Brian Tobin. He's got to come in. And who's about to go off?
Now, Michael Galligan has got to keep this ball in play. If he goes for a score and it goes over the bar, it's a bonus. But if it goes wide, it's a puck out for Clare.
Frankie Carroll's the player who's gone off as Galligan hits it and surrenders possession to Clare to Anthony Daly. Kept going forward there by Jamesy O'Connor. There's a Clare man on the ground after that wild pull. And the Clare man on the ground, maybe Mike Houlihan. So Houlihan, the team captain, receiving attention. It was a confirmation there, by the way, of that substitution. Brian Tobin on for the remaining 13 minutes. Frankie Carroll is off. Well, it was Jamesy O'Connor who caught the midfielder, perhaps PJ O'Connell.
Yes, I think at this stage Limerick need a miracle. You know, they need a goal quickly, and then to keep on adding points after this. Otherwise they're in severe trouble, and they're not doing that. They're running with every ball. They're not giving their full forward line a chance to get the ball in low, and they're being crowded out by Clare backline that's playing extremely well.
Playing well and playing with determination. Houlihan's back on the feet. Limerick have a free. Gary Kirby will be the taker. His past number of frees have dropped a bit short. This one dropping in again, and once again goalkeeper David Fitzgerald practically doing this in his sleep, I think, at this stage. He's made so many good fetches. The clearance not a great one.
Yes, against the breeze, like it's a very strong breeze. Now it's not a mild breeze, it's a strong breeze, and Gary's shot is it's just dropping under the bar, which is not good for the forwards. But if Limerick get a goal, this game is wide open again.
It'll make for a fascinating last 11 minutes as Tyke Hayes steps up to take the sideline cut, only as far as TJ Ryan. And then watch the eagerness of the Clare men. That's Fergie Toohey getting it forward somehow as far as Gerald Loughlin. Then selfless running by PJ O'Connell to get at the end of this. This is great team combination. Wonderful work, and they finish with a point. Oh. It's gone to the left.
No, that's Clare now doing something silly. That ball should have been kept and played, come across the field over here to Stephen McNamara, who was available. And that's a costly miss.
Instead, Joe Quaid has the chance to put the pressure back on the Clare backs. Ollie Baker breaks it down. Whipped forward there by Hayes. Anthony Daly. Will he be lifting the Munster Cup, or perhaps Mike Houlihan? At the moment, the odds favour Clare.
Limerick heads seem to be dropping a little bit, Ger. They're not as hungry for it as they were before. Donald Barry is coming into some place there. We don't know who's going off.
Yes, Donald Barry is moving back into the half-back line
for Tyke Hayes.
And Tyke Hayes' involvement in this Munster final only lasted 25 minutes. Anthony Daly runs on there towards Conor Clancy. To Stephen McNamara. Lost it initially, coming back again. Little block there by Mike Nash. Taken here well by Steve McDonough. Over the head of Sean O'Neill, battled down however by Hagerty to Jamesy O'Connor to take his chance, perhaps down off the post. And that's Donald Barry, first taste of the action. Not a good clearance only as far as Conor Clancy. And they're punishing everything this afternoon. Conor Clancy's first point. Every one of the Clare forward line has now scored. And that man there in the centre of that crowd just a minute ago is a very proud Clare man. There's a Limerick man I saw in there in the crowd. He seemed to be congratulating the man alongside him. There's a very good atmosphere at this final. They're really enjoying it, even though it hasn't been classical fair. But full credit to Clare. They've carried the fight. They've taken their chance. They've got the hunger and the eagerness for victory. PJ O'Connell again waltzing his way forward. Nobody prepared to get in. A good challenge. That's to the left, however. And now he's had 2 chances in the last 3 minutes. That's 4 wides in the second half for Clare, just 7 in all. Limerick with 8 wides, but only 1 in the second half. Crestfallen Limerick dugout. Jimmy Hartigan, the secretary, was on the left of that group. Clare's sideline ball. I really simply have to ask the question whether or not the Limerick players were as focused going into this as they needed to be, because having beaten Clare so handily last year, they must surely have known that Clare would be full of resolve and toughness this time around. Kieran Carey can't get it. He's now playing at centre forward, having started centre half back, then midfield. Brian Tobin trying to make it his. Sean O'Neill in to help him. Stopped by Liam Doyle, nobody on him. But there's a block then as Tobin got back very quickly. O'Halloran was flattened. TJ Ryan trying to pick it up. It's been a disjointed Limerick performance this afternoon, a lack of cohesion in their ranks. Ryan picking it up. But they've really been playing more or less as individuals as we watch a rather wild clearance from Fergal Hagerty, putting his own defence under some pressure, but admittedly out by the corner. Here's Quigley.
Now here's the only man who's capable of scoring. Quigley is the only man in the forwards at the moment who's capable of scoring a goal.
But when you look back, Eamon, and you think about the miss in front of goal when he kicked rather than use the hurley, that could have been a critical turning point.
It was a critical turning point, and a goal at that stage would have set Clare back an awful lot. But it didn't happen, and Clare now are leading by 7 points.
114 to 10 points.
I have a feeling Gary's going for a goal, is he?
It looks like he's trying to measure this one, and he puts it over the bar. Gary Kirby's scored 6 points. They've all come from frees. And in terms of scoring chances so far, Limerick with second half chances, 4 from 9 chances. Clare had 15 chances in the second half so far, and they've taken 9. David Fitzgerald, son of a very proud county secretary in County Clare. So far, that is. Pat Heffernan leaves it behind. Brian Lowen trying to get a connection on it. Did well. A real pure, stylish hurler, this fellow. Lovely to watch. Down it goes. Off the legs there of Stephen McNamara. Runs loose here to the cornerback, who is Declan Nash. Nash against 2 Clare men. Gerald Loughlin, the Sparrow, trying to take it up. Back there by Mike Houlihan. Out it comes as far as Jamesy O'Connor. Drops short and pops over the bar. Jamesy O'Connor's 6 point. What a performance by the number 12. Who's played at midfield, and he's been a scoring sensation in this game. Look at the happy faces you see among the Clare following here in Semple Stadium. Their lead now, a lead of 7 points.
I think at this stage some of the Limerick players feel that they're not going to win this game, and like there's still 5 minutes, 6 minutes to go, and they should be fighting with everything they've got. I wonder
was that Fergie Toohey down there injured? Seems to be. The referee also taking the opportunity to take some liquid. Jerry Loughnane with a concerned look. Some of the Limerick followers are saying bye-bye. They feel their chances have said, or their team has said bye-bye to the Munster Cup. The Clare following, as Fergie Toohey limps back into the action, are savouring this wonderful second half for them. Clare stand 5 minutes away from bridging a 63-year gap. Or is there a miracle comeback for the Shannonsiders from Limerick? Frank Lohan, son of the great Gus, to Shawnee McMahon. Dave Clark going for it. Mike Houlihan stood back, lashed it forward, stopped by the Clare captain Anthony Daly. To Ollie Baker. His goal against Cork, of course, paved the way for Clare to get into this third final in a row. Poor clearance, Mike Galligan has it. Downfield towards Brian Tobin. Limerick needing scores, but goals in particular. That's going right. The groan from Eamon Cregan here alongside me. The poor shot there from Brian Tobin.
You can't afford to be sending balls like that wide when you're 7 points down with 4 minutes to go. That ball should have gone over the bar.
It's edgy and nervous all over the field. Jerry Loughnane has looked at the watch. 4 minutes to go. That's not forward there by Ollie Baker. Out comes Conor Clancy. Scoring chance once again. It's over the bar. What a day for Clare. This is wonderful from a banner perspective. They've been down in the hurling context for so long. The footballers shocked Munster in '92, and now with an 8-point lead, the hurlers are poised to do likewise. So many broken hearts down the years as Clare people went home from Munster finals in places like Limerick and Thurles and so on. Dave Clark knocking it in. Limerick need a goal. Heffernan perhaps to provide it. Brian Tobin misses it. Brian Lohan stumbled, then recovered. Quigley couldn't quite get it past Michael O'Halloran. It comes back out to Anthony Daly. Nobody on him. Mike Houlihan takes it down. And the referee's whistle is sounded there for a chop down.
I think Limerick have actually accepted that they're going to lose. A number of players there are not chasing anymore. They're just letting the Clare fellas off from time instead of pressurising them.
Gary Kirby took the free in towards Quigley, and it's Brian Lohan who's out there. Nobody wants to win more than Brian. Brian Lohan getting away from Mike Galligan, winning the race easily. Declan Nash trying to stop Gerald O'Loughlin, but the Sparrow finds Ollie Baker. Ollie is hooked by Gary Kirby. Gary having a word with the referee. It's now Ollie, that's Fergal Hagerty. Hagerty sending in that shot to the right. But at this stage, with so few minutes left, just about 2 on my watch, it hardly matters. Jim McInerney is in, I can tell you, just coming into the Clare team now. And I'm sure Gerald O'Loughlin is not doing it for sympathy reasons. He thinks that I'm sure Jim can do a job and do a job very well, and it's good that he's able to share these glorious moments now in one of the proudest days for Clare hurling. Fergie Toohey going off.
I'd put a different thing on it. Jerry, he's slowing the game down, and so that time is being wasted, which is a clever move on Jerry's part.
Stephen McNamara has come out to the half-forward line. Jim McInerney's got in top of the left. That's knocked away by Ollie Baker, the hero of Limerick, about to be the hero of Semple Stadium. Fergie Toohey being congratulated on the sideline. The subs, the mentors, the county board officials, they've never sampled anything like this. I'm thinking about the great John Joe Goggles Doyle, the lone survivor from 1932. I talked to him a little while back. He was looking forward to this day. I'm sure he's proud. as Clare bring on number 25, Lorcan Hassett from St. Joseph Stewart of Bearfield. Play continues. TJ Ryan. Here's Damien Quigley. Stopped by Shawty McMahon. It hasn't been a classic, but if you're from Clare, who cares? Scoring chances to date. Limerick taking 11 out of 29. Clare taking 17 out of 28. We're inside the last minute. The curse of Biddy Early is about to finish. Nice dash here by Ollie Baker, wasting up a few precious seconds, sending it downfield over the head of Declan Nash, whipped on by Mike Houlihan. Gerald Loughlin towards Jim McInerney. Jim's first touch just showing a little bit of rustiness. He's just into the match. Through towards P.J. O'Connell. Mike Houlihan way back there. Limerick have looked ragged all throughout this match, but that's not to take it from Clare. They've shown the dash. Jim McInerney unable, however, to find the range. Well, I remember a league final. You were involved in it, 1985. You were coaching Clare against Limerick. And today, in Semple Stadium, we're now just seconds away from the longest bridge in hurling, the 63-year gap that Clare has waited to take the Munster Cup. Fergal Hegarty, aware that he might have been hooked, going for the score. It's there! Clare are certainly home and dry. The crowd around the field, they think it's all over. They're told to go back by the referee. 117 to 11 points. Gerlock Nairn said here in May that Clare would win the Munster Championship. They have beaten Cork and they're about to beat Limerick. Celebrating already there with Tony Considine. They're ready to invade Semple Stadium, and I doubt they'll go home before midnight. Work will be put on hold all over the Banner County for at least the next month to 10 days. The puck out from Joe Quaid. The referee just prolonging Limerick's agony somewhat, but it really is just academic. Mike Galligan, the foul there on Sean O'Neill, free quickly taken by Mike Galligan, dropping it into the square, then look for a goal to put a better complexion on this. And it's a save by David Fitzgerald. Penalty score in the first half, and some wonderful saves throughout this match. Well, Clare have won it! Clare are the Munster champions! 1932, 1995. They came, they believed, they knew they could conquer, and they've done it against a Limerick team that were but a pale shadow of their true selves. The invasion of Semple Stadium. I've never seen anything quite like this. They may have been outnumbered, but they're all ready now to take over the ground, just as their team took over Limerick. Gerlock Nairn congratulated by Rory Kiley and by Dave Boyle and the Limerick doctor. What a scene, what a scene.
They were hungry for the ball, they won it, they took their scores and they hounded Limerick into the ground, and that's what won it for them in the end. And then congratulations to Clare, and who better to win it, to lose it to a Clare side of tremendous character.
What a proud man Ger must be right now. Clare will be in Croke Park for the All-Ireland semi-final, and if they don't celebrate between now and the end of July, they might even make the final. James O'Connor scored 6 points, P.J. O'Connell got 4, and for the record, the full-time score here was Clare, the Masters, by 117 to 11 points. That's Clare winning by 9 points.
And with me, Conor Clancy, bearing the scars of battle, but it's all worth it, I'm sure, Conor.
Definitely, yeah. We've trained long and hard for this for last October, and we put in many hours of hard work and hard efforts, you know. And we were determined to come down here today to do it, not only for all the people in Clare, but for Tony, Ger and Mike, who put in such great effort and such great faith in us by taking over last year. And it's great here today. It's a great day in Clare, and it's going to be a great week, I'm sure. And like Tony's one of the men, he helped bring it through, and so did Jar and Mike there. They're three great men, you know.
I heard the pre-match debate inside in your dressing room. In fact, it was a bit of a psyching session, wasn't it?
It was, yeah. Well, in Anthony Daly there and Sarah Lyons and a few more, they really get the psyche up, you know. And same with Mike and Tony. They're great men to psych the team up, and I don't think we need a psyching up today, you know.
Well, Anthony Daly did say his dream was to lead G out at Croke Park.
And now his dream is fulfilled. But we're looking forward now to 4 weeks' time, and we'll celebrate for a couple of days anyways, and we'll get back down to earth again, and we'll look forward to taking on Galway.
Well done. Tony Considine is with me as well. I'm sure you're delighted as well. What a marvellous day for everyone from Clare.
I'm delighted for everybody here from Clare. You can see the crowd. How many times we come here for the last 63 years and come back empty-handed. There was not only funerals going home out of Thurles. The funerals are over. We're going home today and the flags are going to be flying high, Tony. We ran away with the game in the second half, really, you know. We knew at half-time, if we kept our concentration, kept our composure, that we would beat Limerick, and we beat him fairly comprehensively in the end, you know.
There's never a Clare team wanted it more, I'd say.
Well, there was never as much hunger. I was asked during the week about it. Do we want it? I said we have to want it, because if we don't, we've no business going down. We had to prove something to our supporters. You see them around you here. They're ecstatic, and they deserve to be.
And you deserve to be as well. Tell me, the early morning starts were worth it, weren't they?
The early morning at 6 o'clock was great, you know. We forget about all the mornings now, and we'll be looking forward to the All-Ireland semi-final.
Indeed, this isn't the end now, of course. It's only the beginning.
Oh, not at all, no. We'll be back in again next week there and keeping our concentration and getting up to the All-Ireland semi-final. It's a long time since we were in Croke Park, 1932. We're going to go there, and we're going to do ourselves proud there as well.
Tony Considine, savour the moment. Thank you.
Thanks very much, Tony. Thank you.
Yes, a great day then at Semple Stadium for the supporters of Clare who were there to see their side crowned Munster champions. Well, Kieran Barr was watching that match with me this afternoon. Kieran, I suppose you would understand very well what those players and supporters went through today, because a similar occasion for Antrim when you got through to the All-Ireland final.
Yeah, it's a great release, sir. Sometimes it's unexpected because everybody in the county tries to tell you you're going to do well and you're going to do fantastically on the day, but in the back of your head you're hoping that things will go well, but you always believe sometimes that, you know, maybe it's not my day, and there's doubts that creep in. So you can see that they're elated and they're starting to release a lot of that elation. But I think it'll be Willie Clancy another week now. It'll be 2 weeks of Willie Clancy this year instead of one. But they'll enjoy themselves.
I'm sure they will. I'm sure there's a lot of people in Galway hope they continue to enjoy themselves for a few weeks as well.
Well, I was saying to you, I think some people from Gort will probably go down for the week, down into Clare and into Ennis. But I better mention David and Leanne Casey from Ennis and their grandfather Pat Carroll and my father-in-law who's in hospital. They asked me actually, and their father told me that he was taking David to the match, and he was saying, well, he'd be very disappointed, and he was last year when they got beaten, and he couldn't understand why they were beaten. Children are, you know, they're very clinical sometimes in what they say, and it'll be great excitement down there now.
It was a crucial win for them today in every sense of the word. I mean, as a result of winning, they're now sort of on top of the world, but had they lost today, 3 finals in a row, what would have happened to them?
It's interesting that this team has developed under Len Gaynor, first of all, and has been taken on and taken a new dimension, I think, under Jern Loughnane. I think both men have to take credit for this team, but it's their new players, I think, new guys who probably don't have a lot of fear, guys like Hegarty and Baker. Baker sticks out in your head, Clancy at full forward, guys who we haven't heard of but now have been clocking up good performances. They've beaten Tip over the last couple of years, Limerick, and now they've beaten Cork, and now they've gone back and beaten Limerick in a Munster final. So it's not something that haven't happened overnight, and they were beaten in the league final this year. They've developed, and it's an awful lot of hard work. I hear them talking about early mornings. Those guys are young, they're extremely keen, and they believe in themselves. And once you've won something, success will breed success. Now they've won something, they believe in themselves. A bit like the Limerick team last year. They went from the Munster final and went straight to an All-Ireland final and nearly won the thing. But they're still a good team. Limerick are still a good team. There's no doubt about that. But this Clare team hopefully will go on and do better things.
All right, Kieran, well, we'll have more from Kieran Barr after the commercial break, plus his selection of man of the match from this year's Munster hurling final. And it was a proud Clare captain indeed, Anthony Daly, who accepted that Munster trophy in Thurles this afternoon.
So to the presentation. Noel Walsh makes the presentation. He's a Clare man. To Anthony Daly, a very proud one. The curse of Biddy Early is consigned to history. The tears today are tears of joy.
And you're welcome back again to the Sunday game. Well, right now it's time for Kieran Barrow's analysis of this afternoon's Munster hurling final. I was just saying to you, Kieran, there that the big question that hurling supporters and indeed people knowledgeable on hurling had going into today's match was, had Clare the bottle for this? Because they didn't have it in the last 2 years, in fairness.
Yeah, it was a difficult one to call because they had flopped against Tipperary and then last year against Limerick, and they took a fairly bad beating last year against Limerick. But I said earlier on the year I thought that they had lessons to learn from the Cork game, and I think I mentioned the new players and the fact that they're a young team. They obviously have taken those lessons on board when they've been coached or trained and said, this is the mistakes you made, this is what you have to rectify. And they did rectify them. They showed a lot of guts today, though. And that's something that I've said before, that you can't train into people. You can't coach someone when it's down to the last 10 or 15 minutes to run after a ball, strike it on the ground, if it comes straight back at you, to get up again and go after that ball again. And that's something you can't coach. And they showed that today, but in fairness to them, they showed it in previous games. It's just that in the final, in the last couple of years, they haven't been able to produce that form again.
Sure. A question also about Limerick. In fairness to them, they did not play up to what we would expect from Limerick today.
They didn't, and there may be a question over their training cycle. Did they peak a bit early for Tip, or were they waiting for something later on in the year, or whatever? They just seemed to be a little bit listless and a little bit stuck to the ground today. They didn't seem to have that spark. But another big factor in their team is Hegarty was missing at centre-back, and that added a huge balance to their team last year. They had Kirby and Hegarty were the two pillars of the team, and the rest of the team functioned around that. You take one of those guys out and it affects them badly. And they lacked inspiration today, and that's a little bit sort of a criticism of their big players. But those guys were the guys in previous times that actually did the business for them. Guys like Kerry, Mike Houlihan, Gary Kirby, you know, and today it just didn't happen. Now, everybody can have an off day.
Yeah. Well, I suppose for most of the game today, like for 60 minutes of it, it was hectic stuff, and in a game like that, the incidents and the accidents are what changed the course of the match, I suppose. We've picked out a few of those, Kieran. The first was the penalty. Now we're going to have a look at what led up to the penalty, and was it a penalty is the question, I suppose.
It's interesting enough because I think from the general angle, as you look at it from the stand, it definitely appears to be a penalty, because I think you can see that he catches the left arm, the fullback catches the left arm of the forward and appears to pull him back a bit. Now, when you look at it from behind, it actually looks different to that, because you can't see that action, because all you can see is that charge, and you see the arm being caught from behind. Now, that action, I think, is what the referee saw, and in actual fact, when you look at it from behind the goals, it doesn't look that bad, and you think, well, was it a shoulder charge or was it a tackle? And bringing your goalkeeper up, he had to go for a goal, there was no doubt about that. Munster final, you know, you get one chance at it. That was the only goal of the game, and I think if had it been me coaching the team, I would have said, yeah, we mightn't get another chance like this. 21-yard line, put it in the back of the net.
Surely hit it a belter as well.
He did well.
Limerick had their chances to rescue this match, even when things were going against them, and a few of the things they did were questionable.
Yeah, like I think the next piece of film we'll see will show some of the one of the best chances they had in the whole game. Quigley looked like the most dangerous forward on the pitch all day. Actually, he looked like at any stage he would get a goal. In the first half, he had some misses. In the second half, that was a particularly bad miss, because at that time the score, I think, was 0-9 to 1-9 in favour of Clare. And if he'd have scored that goal, I don't know whether all those questions would have come back into Clare's mind again. Right. Here we are again, we're all level, there's 20 minutes to go, and it's been put up to us. Whereas he missed that, and you could almost see the backs and the crowd, the Clare supporters, saying to themselves, you know, this is our chance today. And away they went and they took it. There was no doubt about that.
Well, all through the match today, there's no doubt that Clare showed the determination. But towards the end of the match, they were also getting those kind of scores that, let's say, on another day mightn't just happen for you.
Yeah, there's two here. We'll see in this piece of film. There's two incidents. The first one shows the running power of the Clare players, and I think they were extremely fit today. And that, you noticed that when you were down in Clare during the week. Fergus too did excellently there to beat two Limerick men to the ball. O'Loughlin gets it here and gives it up to O'Connell, who never stopped running all day. But this is a little fault that they have, and this player does it occasionally. Instead of putting the ball across the pitch, he goes for a spectacular score and misses. But the things were happening for Clare today that didn't happen on other days. McNamara gets a ball in the corner. He doesn't even look at the goals, and he puts it up over his shoulder, and it's over the bar. Right, so there was a consistency there to a degree that they were putting the pressure on Limerick all the time. And when you put that type of pressure on, you're going to get scores. But they still have things to do in their game that have to change if they're going to do better later on.
Well, this is the next question I was going to ask you. Okay, it's a big, big day for them today, but can they go on from here? Can they go to an All-Ireland final?
Well, I be honest with you, if someone was to ask me that question, I'd have to say honestly, I think it might be too much in 1 year to go through Munster final right through the All-Ireland final and win it. If I was coaching Limerick or coaching Clare, I'd be going all out to win it, okay? But it wouldn't be a massive disappointment to me if they got beaten at the semi-final stage or the final stage. I'd be very conscious of trying to make sure that the damage done by a defeat in any one of those stages is limited to the minimum it can be, and therefore you can take the team back to a Munster final next year and take it that one stage further. I think progression in 1 year can be dangerous for a team if they flop, because Limerick have suffered a little bit of that for them this year, because they've gone back to a Munster final and haven't really done it properly and haven't clicked, and maybe it's just too much for them to repeat it and so many highs. You have to come back down from that high at some stage. So,
well, that's something we're going to find out in the next few weeks. For the moment, though, Clare are savouring their Munster title indeed. Now let's go back to Semple Stadium and hear from four men who played a very important part in Clare's victory today, as team manager Ger Loughnane, their inspirational forward James O'Connor, also Shawnee McMahon and PG O'Connell.
At long last, the long wait is over. You know, after many bitter, frustrating, even humiliating defeats, here we are at long last, having won the Munster Championship. And not alone won it, but won it on a fine day in Thurles on a hard ground. Absolutely unbelievable. I think deep down we thought we'd never see the day, but at long last it has come.
I think you were convinced, though, this year was your year, because even in the game against Cork beforehand, you had a very positive mental attitude. All the rest of the players seem to feel that as well.
Absolutely. I think this bunch of players are the best bunch of players we've ever had. I've said that all along over the last 3 years, because Mike Mack and myself have been involved with them at under 21 before they came on to senior, and then I was involved with Lynn again, and I've never seen a more committed, more courageous bunch than this group of people, and I'd always, every conference, that they are the crowd that would make the big breakthrough for us.
We're waiting 60 years for this, and we knew we were in with a chance, and we really owed Limerick something after what they did to us last year, so it was great. We weren't going to go down as we had done, and we were properly mentally prepared anyway, you know.
The Clare half-back line was very strong, particularly in the second half.
Well, I thought the two boys, Anthony and Liam, the two wing-backs, were brilliant, because they did the world of sweeping up, and they just kept running, and they absolutely cleaned out their boys, you know, and it was great. Everybody, I don't think you could single out anybody, really. I thought everybody really pulled their weight today, you know.
I think that was the first break we got, was winning the toss and electing to play against the wind. That was our plan, and we knew if we could just dig in and stay with them at half-time, that, you know, we'd eventually wear them down. We had seen them against Tipperary, and we reckoned that our fitness levels were higher than they. So, as I say, the plan went to order today. Yeah.
We were on a high, coming out again in the second half. And last year, they came out and they blew us off the field in 10 minutes in the second half. So we were determined not to let that happen this year. So we hit them with everything we had. And it's all about fitness in Thurles. And if you're not fit in Thurles, there's no point being there.
How far can Clare go in the All-Ireland Championship now?
I haven't a clue. I haven't thought about it. I was just geared in for today. As I said to the lads before the game, 25 years ago I put on the Clare jersey for the first time, always with the aim of winning the Munster final. And we just thought of that. We geared ourselves into winning the Munster final this year, winning the Munster Championship. We've done that, and in a few days' time we'll think of the future.
How will it be celebrated? For a long time, I'm sure.
I'm telling you, for a long, long time, and that's for sure, because as I said to the staff, we have so many defeats, so many bitter defeats, especially here in Thurles, that at long last we've come out of here with the cup. We're Munster champions for the first time in 63 years, and that surely calls for a celebration.
Yeah, it's a great day for people like Ger Loughnane, as he said there, who battled long and hard themselves in the Clare jersey. Kieran Barr, one more matter to be finalised about today's Munster final. Who did you pick as man of the match?
Well, there were plenty of contenders. I think the goalkeeper had a fantastic game, scoring a penalty and making some brilliant saves, but I picked him the last time, and I'm going to pick him again. James O'Connor, I think, his move to midfield has worked wonders for the team, and he's an intelligent player who spreads the ball around, but has also showed a lot of guts and a lot of determination, and has grown up with this team, and has grown up today, and really it was a man's man of the match. He was superb throughout, and I think he showed a lot of courage and a lot of guts.
Well, all of the players today on the Clare team have Munster medals as a result of that performance. Jamesy O'Connor now has a gold watch as well to go with that, so well done, Jamesy. Kieran, thank you very much for your thoughts on today's Munster final. Well, now we switch our